emotional manipulator, and it took me till I was 35, 40.
Yeah.
Before I really like understood it and was like, okay, this is just who this mofo is. Love him. He got me to this world, but we have a lot of space, Shawty. You won't make me. I understand why some shoulder pressure hurt. And they're like, I ain't doing too much. I'm like, you don't know what that person took their kids through. They just
right.
So I think once I recognized within myself,
within,
because trying to get an apology out of him, trying to get us on the same page, you know, it ain't gonna happen. I'm end up crashing out in the streets. No.
I love it.
So it's not my fault.
I love it. I love it. I love it.
Who they are, what they do. Okay, cool. Understand my part. I played in it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna either apologize for it or not. Talk to me and God about it.
This book has had. I've gotten some mixed reviews about this book, so I'm interested to see. I should be able to finish. My goal is to finish this book this week. I should be able to finish it this week. It's only 200 pages. I have not read it yet. I had this. Yeah, this is new. Yeah, I got this at the airport. Every time I go to the airport, I like to grab a book.
Airport does have very interesting.
Yeah.
Books you normally would not see.
Yeah, I love getting books from the airport.
I will say that the airport will give you some books. You be like, wow, what about me that?
Yeah.
That would be one. I mean,
yeah, I'm interested to see what it's going to sound like.
When she was up there with me,
and
it was about. I know it's about Black history in America, and like it talks about two sides of it. It goes deeper to like some of the people they teach us about, but go deeper behind the things we don't know about, and how America spun it. Like even down to slavery in Spain, like it goes really deep. I told her when she finished reading, she didn't give it to me. I think she gave it to my brother.
I ain't mad at that.
I need to go read that.
Yeah.
But no, I understand it. But I will say you do have a level of caring.
Yeah, it's a big level of caring. What's up, y'all? What's up, people over on YouTube? Yeah, let's finish. Let's come back to it because this is I like this one. I like this one. Yeah. All right, y'all. What's up, y'all? What's up, y'all, man? Appreciate y'all coming in. Welcome in. It is Monday, as Eric Thomas would say. Dr. Eric Thomas, TGIM. Thank God it is Monday. What's up, family? What's up, family? So today, man, we got a couple of different topics, two topics actually that I want to talk about. Maybe a third if we end up getting there. We will maybe get to the third topic, man. Thank y'all so much for coming in. But today we are talking about aspirations versus expectations. Today we are talking about aspirations versus expectations, and there's a difference between the two, aspirations and expectations. But it says I'm reading this book, right? And so the science of learning. So you all know that one of the things that we talk about a lot on here is what I want to do is I really want to help give students a formula, and give not just students, right? Because this transcends amongst generations. Like that's the beauty about personal development, is that personal development shapes your personal life and it shapes your professional life, right? So like the same skills that you would learn and you would need to be effective in your personal life are the same skills that you would need to be effective in your professional life. And the same skills that you would need as a young person are the same skills that you would need as an adult. Like you have to grow these skills. What's good, yo? What's good, fam? Like you have to grow in these skills in both areas of your life. It can't just be one area of your life. There's a quote that has been going around social media, and it says simply, how you do anything is how you do everything. And basically what that means is you're not going to show up in your professional life and be great at communication, but be terrible at communication in your personal life. It doesn't work like that. You're either good at communication or you're bad at communication. You either suffer from this deficiency or you don't suffer from this deficiency. It just doesn't work out the way we think that it works, where, okay, I'm gonna be good at being on time in work, but in my regular everyday life, I'm not good at showing up on time. If you're a person who always shows up late to the events, always shows up late to the cookouts and stuff like that, chances are you are a person who also shows up late to the to work, in different areas of your life, man. So we're going to talk about expectations versus aspirations, right? And so having high aspirations and low expectations often leads to low achievement. I'm going to say that again, right? Having high expectations, okay, having high aspirations and low expectations will often lead to low achievement, right? And the reason being is because your aspirations could be extremely high for what it is that you aspire to have, but your expectations, these show up in your behavior. So aspirations show up in conversation and your expectations show up in your behavior. So you can aspire for a better life, but based on the activity that you do every single day, can you reasonably expect to have more than you desire or the thing that you desire? There's another famous quote that goes around where it talks about, don't be upset about the results you didn't get based on the work that you didn't put in. And that's not my quote. I hate when people use other people's quotes and they don't say, they like to say, act like they're the people that came up with that quote. I'm not the person that came up with that quote. I don't know where I heard it from, but I just remember hearing that. Thank you so much to everybody that's over on YouTube, man. I appreciate y'all. I appreciate y'all, man. YouTube, Twitch, Facebook, Instagram, everywhere, man. Y'all are extremely dope, man. Thank y'all so much for tapping in. But you want to have, like, the goal in life is for you to have a level of high aspirations and a level of high expectations, because when you have high aspirations and expectations, you aspire to do something, but you understand that the work that is required of you to accomplish that thing is also on a great level, right? Les Brown has this saying, and he says, most people fail in life not because they aim too high and miss. Most people fail in life because they aim too low and hit. How many people do we know that have low aspirations for themselves, and because of that, they have even lower expectations? They do even lower work for themselves. It's time for our youth. It's time for you personally to start aspiring for something more than you see, than something more than you desire. I had this conversation with a young man at a juvenile detention center this past weekend. He's 15 years old, and we were talking about building your personal brand. And I wanted to connect your personal brand to different character traits that you might need if you were building a personal brand. And one of the easiest ways to figure out what are some of the characteristics and the personality traits that someone of high value would have would simply be to have people that you aspire to be like, people who inspire you, people who motivate you. And I asked a 15-year-old young man who's locked up right now in a juvenile detention center for a number of months or years, I asked him, who is someone that inspires you? And he said, no one. Now, this was shocking on so many levels, but the thing is I know he's not the only one who's 15 years old who feels that way. They don't have anybody who they aspire to be like. They don't have anybody that they look up to. They don't value. That says to me that you don't value critique from other people. You don't value quote unquote constructive criticism from other people. You don't value what other people say. And remember, it takes us back to the question that I asked many, many times. If presented enough information, are you willing to change your perspective on any one thing? If you're a person that's not willing to change your perspective, if you're a person who's not willing to be objective in a conversation, then that's fine. Not to say that I'm trying to or I'm going to change your mind, but to at least say, yo, I'm willing to at least hear you out and hear what you're saying and take it into consideration. Not that I have to change your mind right then and right there. Not that I have to change your mind in that moment, but at least, yo, I'm willing to hear you out and I'm willing to give you an opportunity to convince me why this would be a better option for me or why I should go this way. This is the difference in having high aspirations and low expectations, and high aspirations and high expectations. You're willing to take criticism. You're willing to be, you're acceptable to advice, right? You are someone who is amenable. You're not thinking that you know it all and no one else can coach you or teach you on anything. I'm even at a place in my life right now where I literally just did a post a couple minutes ago. I said, man, I might need a business coach or a brand coach or somebody to help me identify what I should be doing, because I don't know. I'm doing a lot of stuff, but I'm also saying to myself, is this stuff working? Is it beneficial to where I'm trying to go? I don't know. And it's dangerous to be the only one that you are consulting about where you're going, your brand, your vision, your view. It's dangerous to be the only one. I don't want to be the only one that I'm talking to about this. I want advice from someone. But you know, I don't know, man. I guess the question sometimes should be, should advice be free? I don't know. Like, should advice be free? Should we just give advice? And I mean, at this point, everything in life is just about consistency. Everything in life is just about consistency. And the more you can be consistent with it, the more people can anticipate that you will show up every single day, the better your life will be. And that's what I think, man. So there is a study and research that says, right, this study suggests that having high aspirations and high expectations are important. Programs targeting selected students who have low aspirations and expectations would likely yield far better results for time, energy, and cost that they would require, right? So having programs that target students who have low aspirations and low expectations would likely yield far better results. So if you're talking about, you know what I'm saying, like what would work for our youth, we need to find, we need to target the youth who have low aspirations and low expectations, and then we need to introduce them to different ideas beyond their current thought process. Because just like I mentioned for myself, I feel like I'm the only one that's consulting me in my decision making. I think that's the problem with the youth today. That's why a 15-year-old would say, I'm not interested. I don't have any mentors. I don't have anyone that inspires me. But that's the reason, is because, you know, he just doesn't, he has low aspirations, low expectations. And because he has low aspirations and expectations, he isn't at the point where he's seeing something bigger than what his current reality is. And one of the easiest ways to inspire, increase expectations in people is simply to expose them to something beyond their current viewpoint, their current life, their current, you know what I'm saying, like what they believe is possible, right? So these include strategies such as metacognition, self-regulation, effective memory strategies such as spacing and retrieval, practice and teaching the material to someone else, right? So they're essentially talking about you know, ways that classrooms can implement this stuff. But like, how do you implement this stuff in your child's life? How do you provide a space where your child is being inspired and they create aspirations for themselves, and there's a level of expectation where they actually put in the work, right? Like, I think one of the challenges and one of the things that we need to do with youth is we need to learn how to ask the right questions of our youth. And I think that's something that's not being done, right? Our youth aren't being asked the right questions. And I think when they're asked the right questions, I think, like, for real, we need to treat mentoring youth like a podcast, like an interview, because you don't care what you know until they know how much you care. Again, not one of my quotes, but they don't care what you know until they know how much you care. So what my philosophy is on mentoring is, I don't want to tell you what I think you should do. And I think I learned this philosophy from my bachelor's degree, my undergraduate studies in psychology. I don't want to tell you what to do. I believe you already know what to do. You just need help getting there and finding the answers yourself. I feel like you already know what to do. You just need help getting there and figuring out the answers for yourself. So what my goal is my goal is to help you get there and to figure out what the answers are. And so how can I help you get there? How can I help you figure out what the answers are? Well, very simple, right? I can help you get there and figure out what the answers are by asking you the right questions. Because if when I ask you the right questions, you have to come up with an answer. And it's and I'll take anything, but I don't know. I'll take anything, but I don't know. What type of man do you what type of man do you want to be? Well, I want to be this type of man, this type of man, this type of man, this type of man. Okay, got it. If you want to be this type of man, what type of decision making do you think you have to engage in, or what type of decision making do you think you have to practice in order to be this type of man? Do you think that this type of man is a smart man, like he's educated? Yeah, well, I think he's educated. Well, do you think what would get you to be educated? So if you're saying that you're putting education and intellect, and not formal education, but just there are three types of of knowledge, right? Common sense, street smarts, and book smarts. But if you're putting education as something that is important as a character trait, how do you think you increase in education? What do you think this man is doing to increase in education? Well, I think he's reading. I think he's doing some sort of problem solving. I think he's going to conferences. Like, okay, let's list as many ways as we can for you to develop and build educationally for yourself. You can do all of these different things. How many of them have you done in the last 6 months? Well, I've done none of them. So you're saying that you want to be this man. You've identified the things that you need to do to be better, but you haven't done any of those things to get better. How do you think this is like, how do you think it's going for you? Like, how do you think you're going to accomplish this thing if you're not doing the things that you said you should be doing? Now there's a level of understanding. Now the youth can come to an understanding where they can say, oh, okay, I'm not going to get there. Okay, so what's the plan to get there? What's the plan to get right? Like we have to be able, like this is a tactic that I learned in psychology, but then also in my background in sales, where if I'm trying, when I was selling insurance, I'm trying to sell you something, but I need to highlight the benefits. I need to buttress the benefits of it before I get you to buy it. If I'm selling you insurance, I'm not selling you insurance. I'm immediately making a connection point with you, right? Like I saw a young man who was selling T-shirts outside of the dry cleaners. He's like, "Yo, man, you want to check out my brand?" I'm like, no, bro, I don't want to. I don't have time to check out your brand. But it would be different if you was like, "Hey, man, do you believe in a strong family bond? Hey, man, do you believe in family ties? Like, how big are you on creating generational wealth?" Oh man, that's something I'm really big on. That's a connection point, right? And that's the thing. Everybody uses these buzzwords, so it's not like there's just going to be one type of person that would, you know what I'm saying? Like, if you're a person who doesn't believe in, if you're a person who doesn't believe in, supporting your family, building your family up, creating generational wealth, then this shirt, the message doesn't align with you. Like I learned that from David Shands, where he's like, don't sell the shirt, sell the message. So hey, listen, man, are you a person that believes in family ties and supporting family and stuff like that? Yeah, man, absolutely, man. Hey, look, man, I think I got a brand that you would definitely align with, man, that sends that message to the rest of the world that you believe in, family bloodlines, man. You should check out this shirt when you come out of the dry cleaners. That is a different sale than, yo, you trying to check out this brand? Nah, bro, I don't have time for it. You know what I'm saying? Like, what's like, you got to be able to make the connection piece. Same thing that I did when I was selling insurance. I was able to make the connection piece. Same thing that we have to do when we're talking to the youth. We got to be able to make the connection piece on what they care about. Once you understand what they care about, then you can teach them from a lens that they care about. But if you never, ever dig into what they care about, you're going to find it very difficult to provide information to them that would help them achieve the things that they want, right? They'll most likely be closed off. And if we want to peel back some of them layers, man, you got to figure out what's important to them, right? And then ask them, hey, listen, how difficult do you think it is to accomplish that? Because that's another thing that they have, is that they have unrealistic expectations on what it takes to be successful. They think that they can just go out and they can just record and they'll just be successful. And here's the thing, just because you get a whole lot of views on social media, it doesn't mean that you're making a lot of money. I've got a video right now on social media that is over 900,000 views, and I have not made $1 off of it. You know what I'm saying? Like I have not made not 1 cent off of that. Now, if I were monetized, I would probably make, some money off of that. But because I'm not monetized right now, I'm not making any money off of it. So that's just what it is, right? So along with creating exposure for them, aspirations and expectations for them, one of the other things that we have to do is we have to be able to help our youth plan and goal set. And these two things intertwine. That's the reason why I wanted to talk about both of them today, is because after you have the aspirations and the expectations, it's important to make sure that we set goals. And yes, I love doing vision boards, and I love doing, all of these different plannings. But Denzel has a great quote, and he says, a dream without a plan or a goal without a plan is just a dream that will likely never be accomplished because there is no plan. Yeah, you can set the aspirations for the things that you want, but if you don't plan out how you're going to accomplish these things, how are you going to accomplish them? I had one young man, this group that this group, one of the colleges that I go to in the DJS community, that he's like, yo, I'm about to leave in a little bit. And he's like, and I realized that when I get out, I don't have a plan. I said, dude, what do you think I've been coming here every single day preaching to y'all? The fact that you need a plan. When your feet touch ground, you need to know what you're doing day one. Because if you don't know what you're doing day one, chances are you're going to do something that's going to land you right back here in the situation that you're in right now, because you don't have a plan. What was the thing that got you in here in the first place? Not knowing what to do with your time. So you was out doing reckless stuff with your time. So if you know what you're doing with your time, the moment you get out of here, chances are you're less likely to get involved in that because you know exactly what your steps are. I said, bro, do y'all think I'm just here for fun and I'm just here just because I don't have anything else to do? This is Saturday. I'm sacrificing every single Saturday where I could be taking out my wife. I could be engaged with, bonding with my son. I could be sleeping on Saturdays. You know what I'm saying? I could be enjoying myself, doing mindless activities. I could be building a business. I mean, I'm actively working in the business, but there's other things that I could be doing. There's different events that I would love to go to on Saturdays. Good morning. Good morning. Who's that? Batu. Good morning. Good morning. There's different things that I would love to go to, but I can't because I'm here every single Saturday morning, bro. Yes, you need a plan for day one when you get out of here. Another quote that's not mine. If you fail to plan, then you plan to fail. You can't walk out of here in life and not know what your next step is going to be. You can't. Like everything that I'm doing is all looked at in terms of like projects, right? Like I got my nonprofit project, I got my Backpack Jeff project, and anytime I don't know what to do, I can just go in and I can say, okay, where am I on this part of the project? Where am I on this part of the project? You know what I'm saying? Like if I'm here and this is what I'm supposed to be doing, where am I on a part of the project? You need clarity in your goals. You got to have clarity in your goals, right? Setting goals can help students focus their attention, minimize distractions, and embrace work ethic and persistence. Likewise, setting regular deadlines has also been found to help students manage their time, energy over the course of years, as well as improve their overall grades. We need to set deadlines, not just for our school lives, but for our regular lives. If you give yourself forever to accomplish a goal, you will take forever to accomplish a goal. I remember in my phone, when I first started my podcast in 2020 or so, I first wrote the note that I wanted to start a podcast in 2018. It does not take 2 years to start a podcast. it takes a camera, a microphone, and a press play button. Like I took to figure it out. Like you just set it up like this, just go live and just, you know what I'm saying? Like just do whatever it is that you have to do in order to start it. It does not take that long to start a podcast, right? If you give yourself forever to accomplish it, it will likely take you forever to accomplish it. So you got to put a deadline. You got to put a deadline on it, and you got to stick to that deadline. You got to stick to doing it no matter what in that time frame, right? One popular strategy to do this includes doing the task for a few minutes and actually starting a new project is half the battle. Other research helps people better manage to resolve around minimizing procrastination. One popular strategy is doing the task for a few minutes as actually starting a new project is half the battle. Otherwise, techniques include improving self-regulation. So students are less likely to get distracted. Doing the hard, important task early in the day. Absolutely. So there's that saying where they say, eat the frog. Every morning when you wake up, you should eat the frog. You should do the hard, difficult task early in the morning, as opposed to waiting until later on in the afternoon or in the evening to do the difficult task, right? Because after you've eaten the frog in the morning, what else could be more difficult than eating a frog, right? So definitely do the hard, difficult stuff, the stuff that you're dreading. Do that stuff early in the morning, and then after that, your day will likely be better. If you have that hard, difficult thing in the back of your mind throughout the day, you've got anxiety throughout the day where you're saying to yourself, man, I got to do this thing. 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 Where you don't want to have that anxiety that's building up and that's leading up, throughout the day. You want to be able to do that really, really quick. So one of the other techniques that I love doing is the Pomodoro technique. And that's essentially 25 minutes on doing something and then 5 minutes off doing something, right? Now you can stretch out the Pomodoro technique where you can say, I'll work for an hour and then 10 minutes off, or I'll work for 2 hours straight and then 20 minutes off. But just making sure that you're going from working and and there's an intentional working amount of time. Like saying that I have to work for 8 hours straight seems like such a long time. Like when I used to have to work at Bob Evans and I used to have to walk 3 miles, I didn't walk 3 miles. I walked 1 mile 3 times. So I said to myself, just walk from my house to the McDonald's, and then walk from the McDonald's to Sheetz, and then walk from Sheetz to Bob Evans, because the distance from my house to Bob Evans was a long distance. But if I just said to myself, I'm walking from my house to McDonald's, and then from McDonald's to Sheetz, and then from Sheetz to Bob Evans, it made it more condensed because it didn't feel like it was so long. And that's exactly what we should do, with working with our goals, right? And like we're not thinking about the big project. We're thinking about just the task that we have to do every single day. And then that will ultimately lead to us being able to successfully accomplish and achieve the goal that we have for ourselves. So when you're thinking about how do you maximize your goals, that's one of the easiest ways for you to maximize your goal is to break those things down into smaller pieces, right? The first is to break a task down and set out short, regular deadlines, right? The second is to help students make clear, explicit comparisons to previous similar tasks that they have done, right? So what it's essentially transitioning into is that sometimes a task or a goal can seem overwhelming. And yes, a task or a goal can seem overwhelming, but when you remind yourself that you've done something like this before, it seems less scary. It seems less anxiety driven, right? Because sometimes we look at certain things that we want to do and we're trying to accomplish, and we say to ourselves, man, I don't even know if I'm gonna be able to do this. But it's like, yo, you've already done something like this before. Like this isn't something that should scare you, right? So let me see. Let's keep going. Students were more likely to finish a task on time if there was a deadline set for them rather than sitting and doing it themselves. When making future predictions, students were more likely to think about their future progress instead of potential future obstacles, right? The main findings in this planning fallacy states that most people underestimate how long a task will take to complete. Over 70% of students finish their assignments later than they had predicted they would. Average time of being over 55 days compared to the average prediction of 34 days, right? So like, yeah, we underestimate severely how long it will take to complete a task, right? Like, don't underestimate the amount of time it will take to complete a task, and don't underestimate the trials and tribulations that you're going to have to face in order to complete that task, man. So I trust that this is something that has helped you, all. I appreciate everybody that came in, man. Thank y'all so much for, coming in and rocking with me. Y'all are absolutely dope.
He's in his bag.
Yes, man. Y'all know we are here every single morning from 8:30 to 9 a.m. We are live on all platforms. I will be streaming today on Twitch pretty much all day today because I got a bunch of things that I got to do today. So we are going to be streaming. And this is just the process, man, of building my business, man. I'm working on, getting some stuff done. So I'll be streaming today. I'm gonna see y'all, man. I'm gonna catch y'all. Y'all know the motto: stay in your bag, so you never got to chase a bag. And the motto for the nonprofit is winners write history, losers become a part of the story. Please write your own history, because I guarantee if you allow someone else to write you into their story, they're not going to write the ending to your life the way that you would want it to be written. Also, for all my people that are in the DMV area, before we leave out, man, we have a recording of the Mentality Show this Thursday. Make sure y'all pull up, pop out, man. Y'all know it's going to be a good time. Peace, man. Catch y'all tomorrow.